November 9th, 2025. What's in the news today? Border Patrol chief reprimanded for lying, claims shots were fired at immigration officer in Chicago. Border Patrol chief reprimanded for lying, claims shots were fired at immigration officers in Chicago. That's an interesting one. Let's look at that. A Border Patrol chief claimed on Saturday that his agents came under fire in Chicago while conducting immigration enforcement operations, just 2 days after a federal judge said that he had lied to her about having been struck by a rock during a previous confrontation with protesters in the city. Also, did you guys hear that the sandwich guy who threw the Subway sandwich at the ICE officer, and Judge Jeanine Pirro took him to court? You know, she's the U.S. attorney now or something like that. You know, that drunk lady from Fox 5. I guess she was a judge previously, but whatever. She first tried to convict him of a felony, went to a grand jury, and the grand jury said, no, that's not a felony, throwing a sandwich at an ICE officer. And then she took him to a misdemeanor trial, and the jury said, nope, we're not going to convict him of that. So anyway, let's go on. Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol chief and frequent Fox News guest who has become the face of the Trump administration's mass deportation efforts, said on social media that his agents had been shot at and subjected to vehicular assaults, physical assaults, impeding violent mobs' vehicular blockades for a number of hours. In a written statement, the Department of Homeland Security said that Border Patrol agents were conducting immigration enforcement operations near 26th Street and Kedzie Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, when an unknown male driving a black Jeep fired shots at agents and fled the scene. These guys are known liars, but let's see what else. The agency said that the Chicago Police Department was called for assistance and cleared the scene. The shooter and vehicle remain at large, and this is a dynamic situation. Chicago police said they responded but found no signs of anyone having been struck by gunfire where the alleged shooting took place. There are no reports of anyone struck by gunfire, the Chicago police said in a statement. According to police, one officer was in good condition after being struck by a vehicle during the operation, and the driver was ticketed. No video evidence has yet surfaced of the alleged shooting, but social media clips and news photographs did show heavily armed agents in camouflage, including Bovino, confronting protesters, deploying tear gas, and detaining people in the city's Little Village neighborhood. Deploying tear gas on Americans. I've seen that in Africa, you know, during protests, during elections in Uganda, but never in America. For nearly 2 hours, the Chicago Tribune reported protesters trailed a Border Patrol convoy, documenting its movements through residential streets. According to local organizers, at least 6 people were detained, including U.S. citizens who were protesting the operation. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge in Chicago, Sarah Ellis, said that Bovino had lied about an incident in late October in which he had been caught on video throwing a gas canister at protesters in the same neighborhood without warning, in violation of her earlier temporary restraining order limiting the use of force. I remember that. And they had to warn people before they were going to use chemicals like tear gas. Mr. Bovino and the Department of Homeland Security claimed that he had been hit by a rock in the head before throwing the tear gas, but video evidence disproves this, and I guess they don't know that everybody's videoing now. And he ultimately admitted he was not hit until after he threw the tear gas, Ellis said on Thursday, according to ABC News. Tricia McLaughlin, a Homeland Security spokesperson, had also claimed last month in a post on X that Bovino had been hit in the head with a rock. In September, a Los Angeles protester charged with assaulting a Border Patrol agent in June was acquitted, and federal officers were accused in court of lying about the incident. This is just becoming a regular thing. They just do stuff and lie. Border Patrol officers and prosecutors have alleged that Brian Ramos Brito, a U.S. citizen, had struck an agent during a chaotic protest on 7th June, but footage from a witness, which The Guardian published days after the incident, showed an agent forcefully shoving Ramos Brito. The footage did not capture the demonstrator assaulting the officer. Bovino is one of 4 Border Patrol agents who testified as witnesses, but was the only one to say he saw the alleged assault by Ramos Brito, according to the Los Angeles Times. Bovino has previously faced scrutiny for making false and misleading statements. He defended a major immigrant. This guy at this point has no credibility. But I mean, cops have been doing this for years. You know, they always lie like this. But these guys, these ICE and Border Patrol guys, are particularly bad about it. And they basically just want to shoot first, ask questions later, and then lie about it. He defended a major immigration sweep in January by claiming agents had a predetermined list of targets, many with criminal records, but documents showed that 77 of 78 people taken into custody during the operation had no prior record with the agency, a Cal Matters investigation revealed. And in June, while defending the arrest of U.S. citizens in a high-profile case, Bovino falsely claimed on social media that the man had been charged with assaulting. What other job, does anybody have a job where they could lie this much, especially in front of a judge and a jury, and keep their job? Only in the Trump criminal administration. Over the past 2 months, we've seen an increase in assaults and obstruction targeting federal law enforcement, DHS said in a statement posted on X. Raids across X, the MAGA social media site. Raids across Chicago and the surrounding suburbs, including one at a daycare center this week, have led to protests and violent arrests. More than a dozen suburban Chicago mothers were arrested on Friday. A dozen suburban Chicago mothers were arrested on Friday outside, and they wonder why they just got blown out in that election on Tuesday. Outside an immigration detention facility in Broadway, a suburb west of Chicago that has been a flashpoint for anger around Trump's Operation Midway Blitz. The immigration crackdown in Chicago began in September with the stated purpose of pursuing dangerous criminals without the legal right to reside in the U.S. It has resulted in more than 3,000 arrests, according to the DHS. These arrests have included U.S. citizens and people with no criminal history. So here's the deal, guys. Trump's doing this because he wants to use this as a pretense for in the 26 elections. When he loses and they get just slaughtered in the elections, they're going to be able to. They're already going to have troops and this Gestapo ICE group in the cities. The cities where most Democratic voters live, not the rural areas, to keep people from voting and just mess with all the voting, mess with everybody's right to vote and scare people from voting. Just like last week there was the bomb threats. MAGA people are on the phone making bomb threats in the more liberal areas, in the precincts and districts, so people don't go vote. So whatever you do in 2026, make sure, don't let them scare you. Go out and vote. Okay, let's see what else is in the news here. Donald Trump demands ACA. Republicans say any vote on Obamacare subsidies would come after Democrats agree to reopen the government. The president has his own ideas to redirect health insurance money. President Donald Trump on Saturday urged Senate Republicans to redirect funding for Affordable Care Act subsidies away from health insurers and toward average Americans. His latest gambit to pressure Democrats as a government shutdown snarls air traffic, interesting word, leaves food stamp benefits in limbo and furloughs roughly 650,000 federal workers. What readers are saying. Okay, guys, so this is Trump was ordered to pay SNAP benefits by a judge, but he doesn't listen to judges or anybody else. So he's not doing that, and some of the states have already committed to paying SNAP benefits. They already started paying SNAP benefits, and the Supreme Court went. Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's in charge of, each Supreme Court justice has like an area of the country that they hear cases, and they decide whether they're going to move the case to the full Supreme Court or they're going to make the decision themselves. She decided to, put the judges, I think it was an appellate court decision to pay the SNAP benefits. She decided to put it on hold till the whole appellate court hears the case. So state governments, some of them, like I think Colorado, mine, and Minnesota, they started paying out these SNAP benefits, and now they're put on hold So they're in a lurch, basically. They don't know if they should finish paying everybody else or stop where they are. Then some people get paid and some people don't. It's so messed up. The government is basically being shut down for two reasons. They don't want to swear in Grijalda, the new congresswoman from Arizona, because she'll be the 218th vote on the Epstein files, and Trump is all over the Epstein files. Some new information came out. I'm going to make a video about it tomorrow. New information came to light that Trump is more implicated in the Epstein files than anybody thought. I mean, I'm sure Trump knew that. So they don't want to let Grijalda in. There's a new scheme forming. There's a special election in Tennessee on December 5th, and Mike Johnson is trying to hold off swearing in Grijalda till then, because if he could hold off till then, the person who's probably going to win in Tennessee is way right-wing, super MAGA, and they'll vote against releasing the Epstein files, and that'll counterbalance the Grijalda vote where they won't get released. But and they're moving that special election up to earlier in December to get this done, but that's still like a month away. So I mean, it's already been an unprecedented amount of time that he hasn't sworn in Representative Grijalda, and that her 700,000 or whatever constituents in Arizona are being taxed without representation right now, and that's illegal, and they're suing Johnson too. So that's the first reason, the Epstein files. And the second reason they're keeping the government closed is, because the Democrats want to make sure that health care subsidies are paid for another year, so people's health care premiums per month don't go up 100% to 400% like crazy premiums. Like a couple in their 50s who make a combined $100,000 a year, their payments are going to go up from $800 a month to $4,000 a month. I've heard crazy stuff like that. It's just insane. The Republicans, they don't care. They just want to save the money to give tax breaks to billionaires. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching The Spin Cycle. I'll be back again tomorrow. This is I haven't made many videos lately. I've been moving. I have a lot going on in my life. But if you guys want to help out the channel, go ahead and get a membership, subscribe, comment, or just share this video with a friend is one of the best things you could do. And I will see you next time.